Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Today, for My Choice Monday, I'm going to be doing some tag videos. This first one is not going to be a tag video. My friend Sean Erschen from the Horror Corner yesterday did a top 10 Rush songs. And I wanted to do a response for it because Rush has always been one of my favorite bands. And they are the type of band that is a cult band. They were never really hit driven. Of course, they had Tom Sawyer and Limelight and YYZ and Closer to the Heart and songs like that. But they were never really a hit driven band. They were more of a cult band, I guess. And they probably have one of the biggest cult followings of any band in history. So I'm going to start with my honorable mentions. Some of these might surprise you. And the reason why I wanted to do this response is because, like I said, Rush is a cult band, and I knew my list would be very different from, say, Sean's or someone else who likes Rush. So first, for my honorable mentions, is going to be Anthem, which of course was on Fly By Night, which is an incredible way to start out an album. It's an awesome song. Another honorable mention will be Grand Designs off of my favorite Rush album, Power Windows. I've always loved that song, and it was very hard for me not to put it in my top 10. Let's see. We have Distant Early Warning from Grace Under Pressure, which is another favorite of mine. La Villa Strangiato. I knew Sean mentioned that one. Free Will is another one. Red Barchetta from Moving Pictures, of course. Entre Nous from, Spirit of Radio, the one the Spirit of Radio is on now, Permanent Waves. Bastille Day from Caress of Steel. Roll the Bones, of course, from Roll the Bones. And Red Sector A from, I think that's Grace Under Pressure. It's either Grace Under Pressure or Signals. Now, I had originally told Sean that we had one of the same song in our top 10. Of course, in different positions. We actually had two because I couldn't leave this off the top 10. So, number 10, as it usually is with me, because I get conflicted when I make these lists, is going to be a tie. So coming in at number 10 is 2112, of course. Incredible. That was on Sean's list as well, and I couldn't leave it off. And Rivendell from Fly By Night. Rivendell is a slower song. A lot of these songs, unless you're like a Rush fan, you probably won't know them. Let's see. Number 9 is Time Stand Still, or Stand Still from Hold Your Fire. Number 8 is In the End, which I think is a very underrated song that no one ever talks about, from Fly By Night. I just love that song. Me and my friends, when we were younger, used to jam at parties and stuff like that. That was a song that we used to play a lot. Limelight, this is the other song that Sean and I both have in common from our lists. Limelight comes in at number 7. Number 6, another song that I absolutely love, that is off of the Grace Under Pressure album, is Kid Gloves. I've always loved that song, and being a guitar player, growing up in the 80s, we got into digital effects for our guitar playing. And one of the things about Kid Gloves is if you listen to the intro, it's like a guitar riff, but it has digital delay on it, and it is so perfect. It just goes with it so well, and that's very hard to do unless you're sitting there fiddling with it and programming it and all that. It's a very hard effect to get right. Number 5 is Middletown Dreams from Power Windows. Always loved that song. Used to listen to it constantly, along with that entire album. Number 4 is another song I never hear anyone talk about. It's The Pass from Presto. Now, I saw Rush on the Presto tour, and it was probably the best concert I ever attended because the opening band was Mr. Big, which is one of my favorite bands as well. So seeing both of those bands play, it was incredible. And The Pass is a song that, of course, I bought the CD before I went on to see the tour, but didn't really listen to it that much beforehand. Of course, when you're with your friends, you listen to all the songs that your friends like Tom Sawyer and Closer to the Heart and The Trees and Fly By Night, and, all those songs, Lakeside Park. But hearing that live, The Pass, it just had an effect on me, and it's been one of my favorites ever since. So, number 3 comes off the 2112 album, and it's Passage to Bangkok. I just love that song. I think it's amazing. I even like it live, although I don't like it quite as much. It has a biting riff in the beginning that I think is incredible. I just love the song. Number 2 and number 1 are very tough for me. Of course, they're my favorite songs. They can flip-flop at any time. But number 2, today, is going to be Manhattan Project. And that's off of Power Windows. That song has always blown me away. I love it. It just has this wave of peace over it when I listen to it. I don't know. It's just me. So that leaves number 1. And number 1 comes from one of their least popular albums, but it's a song that, first of all, the song is 12 minutes and 29 seconds, but I just think it's amazing. And it's the Necromancer is number 1. The chords to that, and usually my favorite Rush songs are songs that have taught me something about being a musician or something like that. Like The Pass, that came in at number 4, taught me that, when I was playing the bass, that you can actually play chords when you play the bass. Of course, I was very young when I first heard it. The Necromancer taught me so much. This is one of the things that Sean touched on in his video, was that Alex Lifeson is an incredible guitarist. Incredible. So underrated. And I always the reason why I feel he's always been underrated is because you have these two giants on either side. I mean, you have Geddy Lee, who's probably one of the best bass players that ever lived, and you have Neil Peart, who undoubtedly is one of the best drummers. So you have Alex Lifeson, who is an incredible, incredible guitar player, but a lot of times he gets overshadowed by, the other two. So, but the Necromancer, it made me want to do concept albums. It made me want to write albums from start to finish about a certain subject. There are certain kicks and riffs in that song that get me to this day. So, but that is number 1, is the Necromancer from Caress of Steel. If you're a Rush fan, like I said, this is not a tag video. If you're a Rush fan and you have a top 10 list, definitely do it. I would love to hear what it is. Mine are a little unconventional. Like I said, I've been a Rush fan since I was probably 10 or 11. But yeah, definitely do a response if you want to. But if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.